We have forgotten our skill. We have forgotten what we did without interference. We forgot that we produced societies that had no misery. We lived out our Christianity and our socialism. We didn't preach about it, we just lived it out. And we discovered something very early in our history that a lot of us have gone away from. Spirituality and not religion is the enduring thing for man. A spiritual belief. Organized religion gives you a ceremony, creates a rationale for what it does to other people. Spirituality did not succeed because with spirituality you can't hustle people. No pew, no priests with a fine pipe and gold lace robes, no Cadillac. What you gonna take up a collection for? With spirituality, every person is their own preacher. Certain people are gods. After a while, when certain people learn more than others, and this person comes to the spiritual forefront, if they need shoes, we get their shoes. They need to travel, we get them from one place to the other. So what are you going to take our money for? They need books, we get their books. So this is why spirituality fell behind and organized religions came to the front. They came to the front because they were and still are interesting hustles, disguised as a spiritual way of life. When Islam came out of Arabia, they came out as conquerors. They violated the very word of the Prophet. Ethiopia that had saved them, the Prophet said on his deathbed, Islam would never forsake Ethiopia when Ethiopia is in distress. But right before your own eyes, in your own time, an Islamic zealot, Gaddafi, he's gone now, but he armed little Eritrea to destroy the political effectiveness of Ethiopia in that region of the world. No nation has suffered more at the hands of Islam than Ethiopia, yet the Prophet said Islam would never forsake Ethiopia when Ethiopia is in distress. In practice, this is as big a lie as Christianity helping to bring in the slave trade. Now again, I'm not telling you to leave a religion. I'm saying convert it to your use or leave it alone. Someone asked me earlier, how can we persuade these ministers to get into the fight, to become relevant in our fight? And I responded, I said, listen, no demonstrations, no leaflets, no jumping up and down, shouting. Let these jackleg, jive-ass preachers walk into their pulpits and see empty benches. They'll get the point. I know your Jesus message, and it's a beautiful message, but it's time for a liberation message relevant to our existence right now. Jesus, Jesus, Jesus massages my emotion and it makes me feel good. But I want my child to breathe free air. Now, looking again at a people at the crossroads, I'm kind of turning back to a lesson that was taught to me a few years ago by my mentor. And he said to me, he said, Omahni, we will have no problem getting to the door of the promised land. But we as a people will get to the door of the promised land and bunch up at the threshold and start an argument about whether to cross the threshold with our left foot or our right foot. And in my foolish youth, I disagree with them, but I'll be damned if that's not where we are right now, arguing at the threshold of liberation. We are at the threshold of liberation, and our enemy realizes that potentially we are the most powerful people in the world. And they also realize that we are not going to do to them what they have done to us because, number one, we are not that type of people. Number two, we're not going to waste that type of energy. Of course, we're going to knock these parasites off our back, but who the hell wants Europe? Who wants Europe? If they want to keep Europe, keep it with our good wishes. But we want every inch of Africa. That is our home. And we will divide nothing there or share nothing there that you are not willing to share in Europe. We sure as hell don't share any power. And this is why I was totally disgusted with the nonsense about a non-racial government in South Africa. Non-racial, my ass. I want an African-ruled government. Anybody that can't live under an African-ruled government in Africa, take your ass home. The French don't argue about a non-racial government. They want a French-ruled government no matter who lives there. It's a French-ruled government. If you don't like that, you can go home. Don't like their cooking, you can starve or go home. You don't like their laws, you can go to jail or go home. That's the kind of government I want in Africa. A government so completely controlled by Africans is that it is your prerogative to leave if you don't like it. We'll show you where the airport is. You want to go by boat? We'll show you where the harbor is. You feel like walking? We'll show you where the road is. This is Africa, goddammit. Share. We don't share. I would no sooner share my government than I would share my wife. I'm not a fool. And that you have these we can share. Where did the African get his mentality? Non-racial government. These European parasites still control South Africa. They still control all of the wealth-producing resources in every single African country, and there is no exception. Same thing with the countries in West Indies. The gold in Guyana. Do you know how much Guyana gets out of the gold of their own country? 5% of the profit of their own gold. Why the hell didn't they send their young men and women to the mining schools of the world? Dig the gold yourself. Put it on the markets of the world yourself. And why are there students studying nonsense? Studying management and don't even know what to manage? Why not follow the example of the Japanese? They didn't ask their students what the hell they wanted to study. They lined them up and said, geography for you, medicine for you, oceanography for you, airplane design for you, automotive design for you, locomotive design for you, and you better get it. And damn it, they got it. And they made Japan a modern nation.